of research and their content. Now, this is too ambitious, and at least I'm not that competent who can cover everything in 3 hours. It's not possible at all. Nevertheless, before we proceed, I just like to ask you that will you be interested in answering a question if I ask? And on the basis of your performance on those questions, then you can decide from where to begin. So should I ask you some question before I start?
Yes, sir, definitely.
No, participants should tell, not the organization. Participants, you can write in the chat box if you want the questions, or if you want to tell me the topic, you can tell me topic, I will start that. No problem at all. Only one participant, Dr.
Yes, sir.
has said, only one participant. May I
Yes, sir,
request other participants also, please to write in the chat box if you want a question.
You can ask some questions, sir.
But participants are not saying anything. Only one participant has said.
Myself is participant.
Okay, okay. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. Okay, so let us start with a question. And here is a question. I hope you can see this particular question. Do you think, should I increase the font size? You can see this question and you can write your answer in the chat box. Which of the following are variable or variables? That's what you have to see.
Sir, please, I don't understood what you are expecting from us.
Say here is which of the following are variable. If you know variable, then you have to find out which of them is variable. That's all. That's what you have to do.
Okay.
So cost of goods are variable.
Now you need not to speak because other gets unnecessarily confused. So you write your answer in the chat box.
Okay, sir.
Only one participant has given the answer. Two participants have given the answer. 3. Five participants have given the answer. 6 participants have given the answer. 8 have given the answer. Out of 50 participants, 8 have given the answer. Now 9 participants have answered this question. 11 people have answered this question. Thirteen participants have answered this question. Fourteen. I'm waiting for one more participant to answer, then I will go to the next. Fourteen people have answered. If one more participant can answer, then I go to the next question. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you very much for answering this question. Here is one more question before we decide from where to begin. Which of the following is are not? Please understand, it is not the correct name or names of step of research. So try to answer this. Two participants have answered this question. Four people have answered this question. Six participants have answered this question. Eight participants, 9 have answered this question. 11 participants have answered this question. 12 answers have been received. Thirteen answers have been received. 14. 15 participants have answered. Thank you very much. Let us. Now, before I proceed, do you want to know the correct answer?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first question was, which of the following are variable or variables? Content of chemistry is a variable because in chemistry, there are different chapters and within a chapter, there are different informations. So it varies. Information varies, so it is a variable. Male doctor is not a variable. Urban nurse is not a variable. Hemoglobin is variable. Female science teacher is not variable. Anxiety is variable. Lecture method is not variable. But if I would have written methods of teaching, then it would have become a variable. Achievement in anatomy is a variable. Government hospital is not variable. If I would have written types of hospital, it would have been a variable. Teaching experience is variable. Types of universities is variable. 75% marks in psychology not variable. Cost of fruits is variable. Subject is variable. Red color is not variable. Reading comprehension is variable. Average intelligence is not variable. Long answer type of item not variable. 28 degrees Celsius temperature not variable. Blood counts variable and potency of medicine is variable. So these are the correct answers of this particular question. And all those who have got these as correct answer, then you are very clear about variable. Else, my dear friend, you need to understand the variable. Because without understanding variable, it is not possible to do research. Research involves variable. So it's a very important concept. We must know it. Now, the second question, which of the following are not the correct name or names of step of research? Identification of problem is the correct name. Defining the problem, not the correct name. Selecting place of data collection, not the correct name. Thinking about hypothesis, not the correct name. Collection of data is the correct name. Deciding time of data collection is not the correct name. Conclusion is the correct name. Selection of problem, not the correct name. Selection of guide, not the correct name. Selection of variable, not the correct name. Selection of university for doing research, not the correct name. Purchasing research methodology book, not correct name. And reading papers from journals is not the correct name. So these are the correct answers of this question. Now, on the basis of your responses, tell me, should I start from A, B, C, D, or you want me start from any topic of the research? Now, do you want me to start with A, B, C, D of research, or you want me start from some other topic of the research?
Start from ABC.
ABC.
Sir. Start from
Okay.
ABC.
All right. So I'm starting from A, B, C, D. Let us start from ABCD then. Now, here, everyone knows about the word research. If you break this particular word, you can have two words. One is re, other is search. Re means again, search means search. What do we search? We search what we want and we are not getting it. Suppose I go to the office and I want car key and I get the car key, I will not search. But one day when I want to go to office, I wanted car key and I did not get the car key at the place where I normally keep. Then I have to search. So we search what we want and we are not getting it. Suppose I am not well. I go to doctor examines me and he writes the prescription. I take the prescription to one chemist and I get the medicine. So I will not go to the second chemist. But once when I was not well, I went to the doctor. He wrote a prescription. I took it to the one chemist. Chemist, after looking to the prescription, said, I'm sorry, I do not have. Then I go to the next. Next also said, I don't have. Then I go to the next. So that is the meaning of researching. What do we search? What we want and we do not get it. And if we do not get it, then there is a problem. I'll give one more example. You know, because in this pandemic, the whole world, for the first time in my life, I found that everywhere it was the same problem. You take the example of any country, the people of that country were facing the same problem what we faced in India here. So the problem was the same, but no one had any solution of that virus which came. So the scientists started doing research and they wanted to get to the solution of this particular problem, and they took roughly 7 to 8 months to come up with the solution. And each different countries, they came up with their own solution. Russia had their own solution. China had their own vaccine. US had their own vaccine. India also had their own vaccine. France also had own vaccine. So those countries which were capable, they had their own solution. So therefore, if you have to search, you must know what you search. And you search what you want and you do not get it. That means there is a problem. And if there is a problem, there has to be a solution. Each problem has a solution. That is a different issue that today I may not be having that solution. But if I start doing research, I may get the solution of the problem. So when we have a problem and we want to find the solution, then activities have to be carried out. Now the scientists were working day and night in their labs in order to get the solution of this particular virus. So they were doing different activities And these activities were being done in systematic manner, so you can say systematically. Or you can say scientifically. When you do different activities in a particular sequence, then we call it a process. When you prepare tea in the morning or coffee in the morning, preparation of tea or coffee is a process. When we brush our teeth in the morning after getting up, brushing teeth is a process. If we know what are to be done and how, in what sequence. When we take bath, taking bath is a process. When someone prepares chapati, preparation chapati is a process. So when sister gives us injection, then that is a process. Sister knows what to do first, what to do second, or what to do third, and etc., etc. So these are the 5 important words which we must use in order to define research. So if I use these 5 words and I write one sentence, that sentence will be the definition of a research. So let me give you the general definition of a research, that research refers to a process wherein activities are carried out systematically or scientifically to find solution of the problem. Now, in this definition, the 5 words have come. This is the word which is process, another is activities, another is systematic or scientific, another is solution, and another is problem. So this is the general definition of the word research. Understand, in this particular definition, I have written the problem. Why? Because problem is one specific, but solution is not specific. What is the meaning is, if there is one problem, there may be more than one solution. All of us know in this pandemic, problem was one and there were many solutions. So this is the general definition of the word research. Now, I can change this particular definition to become the definition of any other subject. So tell me the subject in which you want me to give you the definition of research. Do you want me to define research in economics, research in political science, research in mathematics, research in computer science, research in Hindi, research in Marathi? In which subject do you want? In which subject do you want I should give you the definition of research?
Economics.
Okay. So research in economics.
Sir,
Research,
history.
just wait, let me complete this first. Research in economics refers to a process wherein activities are carried out systematically, because economics people, if they want, they can use the word systematic as well as scientific. But if they don't want to use the word scientific, they can say carried out systematically to find solution of problem related to some aspect of economics. So the problem must be related to some aspect of economics, because there are different aspects and you may be interested in solving or finding the solution of one particular aspect. So that becomes the definition of economics. Now, definition of research in history. Research in history refers to a process wherein activities are carried out. In history also, people do not prefer to use the word scientific. They prefer to use the word systematic. So carried out systematically to find solution of problem related to some aspect of history. Any other subject in which you want me to give you the definition?
Chemistry.
Okay. Research in chemistry refers to a process wherein activities are carried out. In chemistry, you prefer to use the word scientific. Carried out scientifically to find solution of the problem related to some aspect of chemistry. It may be organic chemistry, it may be inorganic or physical chemistry, whatever it is. So therefore, this is how you have to change the general definition of research so that it becomes definition in your own subject. Any other subject you want me to define research?
Sir, English.
English. All right. So research in English refers to a process wherein activities are carried out systematically to find solution of the problem related to some aspect of English. Any other subject?
Music,
Eh?
music.
Okay, very good. So research in music refers to a process wherein activities are carried out. In music, you can, if you want, you can use the word scientific also, because musical instruments, they are based on some principles of the sciences. So if you want, you can use scientific, or if you want, you can use systematically to find solution of problem related to some aspect of music. There are different types. So this becomes the definition of research in music. Any other subject? Any other subject you want me to define research? Okay. If no, then I proceed further. So now you know how to modify the general definition of research so that it becomes the definition of research in your own subject. Now, once you know the definition, then we go to the characteristics. Now, you may do research in any subject. The characteristics will not change. Characteristics will remain exactly the identical everywhere. In music also the same characteristic, in chemistry the same characteristic, in history the same characteristics, in all subjects it's the same characteristics. And these characteristics are these 5 words. If you use these 5 words and just write one sentence each, so it is research refers to a problem. This is the one characteristics. Another characteristics is research involves activities. And the third definition is research is systematic or scientific. The fourth characteristic is research is a process. And fifth characteristic is research leads to a solution. Now, these are the 5 characteristics of research. Any question you want to ask related to the definition of research or concept of research and characteristics of research? Any question you want to ask?
Sir, can you explain the slightest difference between the systematic and scientific?
Both are exactly the same. Mostly the science people do not prefer to use the word systematic, but the social science people or humanities people, they prefer to use the word systematic. They will not use the word scientific. Scientific means in a particular sequence. Everything moves in a sequence, so you can use both words, no problem at all.
There is an area in language that is called phonetics.
No,
which is
my dear friend, phonetics is a area of your linguistic, and there you can have a problem and then proceed in a sequence. So therefore, if you have to conduct research related to a problem from phonetics, you have to follow the same procedure. Procedure will not change. And it is the procedure that is systematic or scientific.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Now we go to the next. Next, there are two words. I'm sure you must be knowing the difference. The difference between discovery and invention. I hope all of you know the difference between these two words. Can any participant like to tell me the difference?
Yes, the difference is very much clear, sir. Something that already exists and we bring before the light of the world. That is called discovery. And something
Excellent.
that doesn't exist, and something that is being brought before the light of the world, that is called invention.
Very good. What is the other difference? Excellent. This difference is very good. But what are the other differences?
Inventions may happen in the field of technology, medicine, and discovery is something that is related to the nature and life.
Yes, you are right. What is the third difference? Excellent, very good. What is the third difference? Is discovery systematic or unsystematic in nature? Is discovery systematic or unsystematic in nature?
I think it is unsystematic.
Excellent, very good. It is by chance. And invention
Invention is very much systematic.
is systematic. Okay. Can you have a registration for discovery? No, because you don't know. Can you have a registration for research? Answer is yes. And during research, you may do invention. You may come up with a novel solution of the problem which no one has come up. And many patents are there in different subjects, mostly, as you have said, in science, etc., etc. Can you give training to the people in discovery?
No.
Because there are no steps, and when there are no steps, no training can be given, and you can give training to the people in research because there are well-defined steps, and then you can move ahead and can come up with some invention. So thank you very much, sir. You are excellent. You are very good. Is it clear now? There are many differences.
Yes, sir. Perfectly clear.
Okay, now I proceed further. We go now the types of research. And here I will like to tell you the types of research. I will, here is a serial number I will give. Then here is the type I will tell you. And here the base I will tell you. If the base changes, the type will change. Or as type changes, the base will change. Now, before I give that, can any one of you tell me the types of data?
Primary data and secondary data.
Okay, any other one?
Numerical data,
Okay. Numerical and non-numerical. Okay. Any other one?
analytical,
Okay. Any other one? Dear friend, primary and secondary are not the data, but that's the source. So many of the books have given wrong information about different aspects of research, and that is why in India the research quality is very, very, very poor. If you have heard about now the president is no more here, he talked about the quality of research and he said that quality of research in India is very poor. The Professor Kumar, the chairman of the UGC, he said that the theses uploaded in the Shodh Ganga are substandard. So you understand that it is because of wrong concept taught to the researchers. So my dear friend, data will be only of two types. If you ask my name, I'll say my name is Dayanand Sansanwal. This is the qualitative information I am giving. Then if you ask my specialization, I say research methodology, experimental design. This is the qualitative information I am giving. If you ask about my experience, I'll say I have 35 years of experience. So I am giving you information in numbers as well as in words. So the data will be of two types. One type of data is called qualitative data. And another is called quantitative data. From primary source, you can get the qualitative information or you may get quantitative information. From the secondary source also, you may have a qualitative information or you may have a quantitative information. Say in the examination, if there is a question and the student writes the answer, question is qualitative in nature, answer is also qualitative in nature, but as an examiner, you give 8 marks out of 10. Now you as an examiner has converted qualitative information into quantitative. So qualitative information can be converted into quantitative, and we have been doing it. And there are different parameters or criteria to decide this conversion from the qualitative to quantitative. But if I ask the examiner who has given 8 marks in the answer of this question, that can you reproduce the same answer in which you have given 8 marks? So is it possible to reproduce the same answer or not? is it possible to reproduce the same answer by the examiner or not?
Of course not.
Excellent. But the examiner can write another answer in which 8 marks might be given, and these two answers may have some common information and there may be some uncommon information. So what is the meaning? The meaning is when you convert the qualitative information into quantitative, from quantitative you cannot retrieve original quality. So there is a loss in quality, loss in information. So the suggestion is, if you are conducting a qualitative research, please keep on going ahead with qualitative. Do not convert into quantitative. But if you are doing quantitative research, then there is no danger, because quantitative data cannot be converted into qualitative. So this is the information that you must have. So I can say there are two types of the research. One research is called qualitative research. Qualitative research. And another is called quantitative research. And if these are the two types of researches, the base is type of data, or you can say type of information. So if type of information is the base, then the research will be of two types. One of the research is called qualitative research and another is called quantitative research. Now, if I change the base, then my type of research will change. Is this particular point clear to you, or you want to ask a question?
Sir, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sir, can there be a research which it may come in a rarest of the rare quality? Can there be a research which is quantitative and qualitative at the same time?
Yes. No. If you have qualitative, it can be converted into quantitative. But the same information, you either consider it as a qualitative or consider it as a quantitative. You cannot have one variable whose information at the same point of time is qualitative and quantitative. It's not possible. You give me example if you have.
No, sir, I don't have. But I had that question.
No, as you rightly said, rare of the rare. So there is no rare here. So it is either qualitative or quantitative. Any other question? Now, there is another way to classify researches. If you want to study the vision of any person, each one of us have a vision for ourselves. When you were in class 10th and you were supposed to decide whether you want to take science or arts or commerce, you might have decided what you want to become at that point of time. And then accordingly, you might have decided that if you want to become a CA, you might have opted for commerce. if you want to become a doctor, you might have opted for biology. If you want to become a scientist, a physicist or mathematician, you might have opted for physics, chemistry, and mathematics. But once you passed your 12th class, maybe what you thought when you went to the class 11, you might have changed. So that means we keep on changing our vision. If we do not get success, we change. If we get success, we go ahead in the same direction and keep on thinking what next to be done, and etc., etc. If the idea does not come into the mind of the person, it's very difficult to go ahead in that direction. Say, whenever there are elections, each political party came up with manifesto. And in the manifesto, they normally say, if we come to the power, we will do this and this and this for the general people. And once they win, then my dear friend, I have noticed that the government will remind the people that this is what we promised and we have given it to you. That's the vision. Now, Mahatma Gandhi had a vision. Vision means idea. Vision is not something very, but it's a very, very important idea. Idea must come to your mind. If the Newton would not have got an idea in terms of a question that why the apple came down. Now, Newton might not have seen for the first time apple falling down. But at one point of time, the idea struck to his mind that why the apple is coming down, it is not going up. If that idea would not have come into the mind of the Newton, then Newton would not have proceeded further and would not have given you the laws of motion. They are called Newton's laws. Now, Archimedes did not take bath for the first time. But the idea stuck to him that when we are in the water, why do we feel weightless? You know, so the important, my dear friend, is lot of ideas might be coming to your mind, but you might not be catching them and developing them. If you catch and develop, you may give something new to the people. Now, the idea came into the mind of Mahatma Gandhi that we must have freedom. And because of that, we had a freedom. Now, Mahatma Gandhi had his own idea about what type of education we should have in India. Vivekananda had his own idea about values. And he gave a lecture on values. I hope you know it. So therefore, vision means the idea. And whenever that idea comes, it is called philosophy. So we say philosophical research. Now, if you want to study the past event, it is a historical research. Now, whatever you did in the morning, it all has become history. It is past. And history is very, very, very important. You cannot say that studying history is not important. It is history of science, history of time, history of different things. If you want to study something in the present context, then it has to be survey. If you are in a city and you want to purchase car, then you will go to different vendors to see the car. So you are surveying. If you want your child to be admitted in the school, you do survey of the school to find out in which school your child should go, etc., etc. Whenever you want to rent a house, you do the survey. So in order to study anything in the present context, the survey research. And survey research, geology people, not geology. Geology people do lot of survey. And the type of a survey which they do is called is called, they do the field survey. It is called exploratory survey. Now, Oil and Natural Gas Commission, ONGC, they keep on doing survey in different places to find out where the oil is available. So that is called the exploratory survey. So you can do exploratory survey research. Now, if you want to study any tribe, then if you want to study how exactly they live, what do they do the whole day, how do they celebrate different festivals, marriages, etc., etc. If you are interested in that, then it is called descriptive survey. Say, if you have gone outside India and when you come back, your family members will be asking you about that place. That what type of people are there, what do they do, what type of food they eat, etc., etc. What are the other places which one can see, how is the public transport there, and so many things they keep on asking, and then you keep on describing. So when you are described, if you have gone to Qutub Minar to see, after coming, you may describe the Qutub Minar to your friends or family, then you can give its information about the history, who built it, in which year. So description can have both qualitative as well as quantitative. When you go to see a movie and when you come back, your friends might be asking you about the movie, how it is, who is in the main role, lead role, is it entertainable or is it serious or not, etc., etc. Many questions they ask. So you give information in qualitative as well as quantitative. There is another word, I don't know whether you know it or not, it is relationship. And there are two technical words. Can you tell me the two technical words for relationship? There are two technical words for one is called correlation. Can you give me another word? The first letter is A. Second letter is S. Can any one of you tell
Sir,
me?
is it association?
Association.
Excellent. Very good. Association. Now, these are the two technical words, correlation and association. And relationship is a general word. Now, association, if you look at my color of the hair, it is gray. If you look at the gray hair of the person, what comes to your mind? What do you think if you see a person with gray hair?
Sir, it is the color of the hair is associated with your age.
Age. Yes, you are right. But outside India, it is not so.
Yes, sir.
Now, if there is a lady, but there might be many old people who may not have the gray hair. I have seen many 80 years old people, original black, not even single gray. And I have seen many young people of 30 years age, and they have the gray hair. These days, you might have seen many. So having gray hair or not having gray hair has nothing to do with age. Now, if you see a lady who has put on a Mangal suit, immediately you think she is married. But there might be many ladies who might not have put on the Mangal suit. It does not mean they are not married. So these are the examples of association. Now, correlation. And association is 100%, society based. In one society, this meaning is like this. In another society, it will change. So what is associated and with what it is associated, it will change. Now, correlation, you see, when two families, if they want their children to get married, a boy and a girl, then they take the Janam Patri of the boy and the girl to the Pandit. And what Pandit does? Pandit try to find out the common characteristics. Now, when we are not well, we go to the doctor and doctor tells us to go for pathology and he wants us to get our blood test done, etc. Now, from the report of the blood test, he will try to see that these are the symptoms which are the symptoms of this particular disease. So they should match. The system, the characteristics must match with the characteristic of that particular disease. If that doesn't match, then we'll say, no, you don't have this particular problem. Now, during pandemic, each doctor was asking the patient to go for blood test. And after the blood test, then the doctor will say whether it is negative or positive. If it is positive, then you are suffering from COVID, else you are not suffering. So there are some commonness. So correlation is commonness. So in fact, the word should have been relationship survey. But in the literature, the word correlation word has entered. So it is correlational survey. So under survey, these are the three. exploratory survey, descriptive survey, and correlational survey. Now, if you want to study something which you can use in future, can you tell me what type of research can it be? The finding of that research can be used after it has been completed. Then what type of research can it be? The first letter is E. Second letter is X.
Experimental research, sir.
Excellent. It is experimental research. During pandemic, the scientists did not put the medicine into the public domain until and unless they were not sure that it will help the people. Mobile you are using is the outcome of experimental research. After they have got success, then and only then it was put in the market. The car which you are using is the product of the experimental research. You know, now you have different types of car, even electric car is there, hybrid car is there, etc., etc. So experimental research. And another type of research is if you want to study something special, then what type of research can it be? Something very, very special if you want to study.
Sir, is that case study?
Excellent, very good. It is case study. Case study can be method of teaching, and case study can be method of research. So it is case study research. I'll give example. See, I read in the newspaper, case means what? Something very different, something special. In the newspaper, I take Times of India. Some few months back, I read one news that there is one person in Jabalpur, which is in MP. He took 25 years to complete his MA in English. Have you ever heard anyone taking so long? Have you ever come across any person taking so long to complete a particular course?
No, sir. No, sir.
So this particular person is something very, very, very specific. So you can do the case study of this particular person. Now, there is one village in Gujarat where the complete village is using solar energy. And another village nearby that village, they are not using solar energy. So you can do a case study of this particular village because it is something very unusual. Another example, in Andhra Pradesh, I read it in the newspaper, you also must be knowing, there is a village. All people of that particular village, they speak in Sanskrit. Their medium of communication at home, in the school, it's all Sanskrit. Have you ever come across any village where everyone will be speaking in Sanskrit. I have not come across. So here is a village. You can do the case study of this particular village. Poonam, you can tell me. Poonam, do you want to tell me the example? So whenever you want to study something very special, it is case study. Now your philosophical research is 100% qualitative in nature. There is no quantitative in philosophical research. Historical research is maximum qualitative and there may be some quantitative also. Survey research, both qualitative as well as quantitative. Experimental research is all quantitative, no qualitative information. Case study, both. So qualitative and quantitative information will be in all these type of research. But the steps of research which you follow in philosophical research, historical research, survey research, experimental research, and case study research will be different. So you can differentiate them on the basis of steps followed, or you can say methodology. Some steps are common everywhere, but some steps are uncommon. And that uncommon step is formulation of hypothesis. Formulation of hypothesis will not be in all types of researches. It's only in the quantitative. There is another way to classify the researches. It's called basic research, or you can call fundamental research, or you can call theoretical research. Another is called experimental research, or you can say applied research. And the third one is called action research. Now, your theoretical research is 100% qualitative in nature. Experimental research is 100% quantitative in nature. And action research is also quantitative in nature. Do you know what is action research, or should I give you example? Do you know what is action research, or do you want an example from me?
Sir, please explain a little.
Praful, once again. Dr. Praful, please speak once again.
Sir, please explain the concept applied research or action research.
Okay. Now, applied research is very simple. Your medicines are nothing but applied research. The idea you have applied and then you gave the mobile. So my mobile is the outcome of the experimental research or applied research, you call it. Action research means, say for example, I am teaching research methodology and I'm asking, do you know types of variable? Can any one of you tell me that the source? Okay. Okay, let me say types of variable. Can any one of you tell me types of variable? How many types of variable are there, which you have read? Hello? How many types of variable you know?
So
research,
dependent variable, independent variable.
Okay, any other one?
Sir, I'm not remembering the term for it. Interdependable, yani intervening some. I'm not remembering that term.
Okay,
so quantitative, qualitative,
okay. Now, any one of you know the types of hypothesis?
It's null and alternative.
Okay, any other one? My dear friend, null and directional are the forms of hypothesis. They are not the types of hypothesis. And independent, dependent, intervening are the variable name only to be used in experimental research. If you are doing qualitative research, you cannot use these words. If you are doing historical research, you cannot use these words, independent variable, dependent variable. So suppose I teach hypothesis, types of hypothesis, and my student did not understand, but few students understood. Then I change my strategy. I ask the students that one student, I allot him 2-3 students that now you explain to them. And this is the experiment I did in my class. And later on, I found that the students understood the types of hypothesis. So this is what I did was called action research. There was a specific problem, a specific situation, and the solution I got keeping in mind that situation, and the solution can be used only in that situation. It cannot be generalized. Now, what doctors do is the two patients having fever, doctors may not give the same medicine to them. Why? One person may have fever because of something else. Another may have fever because of something else. So what doctor does is always the action research. Now, another example. Suppose Delhi University people have gone on strike, and Delhi, the officials, they talk to the student and strike is over. Now, Jawaharlal Nehru students have gone on strike. Can the solution of Delhi University be used in the Jawaharlal Nehru University to solve the problem? Yes or no? Hello?
No, sir. No.
Then why are you taking so much time? I don't understand. Anyway, okay. Now, if this is the base type of data or information, then research will be of two types, qualitative and quantitative. If the base is methodology or steps followed, then research will be philosophical, historical, survey, experimental, and case study. But if theoretical, experimental, and action research are the researches, then can you tell me the base of classification? Then on what base can we classify researches as theoretical, experimental, and action? So the question is, the question I'm asking, on what base theoretical, experimental, and action research be differentiated? Another question is that I told you that you have to carry out activities systematically. So how will you know whether activities are being carried out systematically? Or what are the indicators of activities carried out systematically? Or what is the base deciding that activities are carried out systematically? Any one of you like to answer any of these two questions? Then I proceed further.
Sir, it depends on the objective for the post question on what base
No.
the
Okay, so think about it and we proceed further. Now, I told you when I was defining the research that research is a process. If it is a process, then there must be some steps. So let us go to the steps of research. Can any one of you tell me the first step of research?
Finding out of the problem.
My dear friend, I gave you one question and I gave you even answer also. And the question was steps of research. So it's not the first step. Any other participant like to tell me the first step of research?
Review of literature.
Eh? Once again.
Review of literature.
Oh, no. Review of related literature is a source. It's not the step. And many of the books are giving this as a step. It is wrong. So first step is identification of problem. So the first step of research is identification of problem. And in this step, there are two important words. One important word is identification and another important word is problem. Now, in place of identification, there is another word called selection. Now the question I'm asking is, do you think that identification is broader and selection is a part of it? Or do you think selection is broader and identification is a part of it? Or do you think both are different?
Sir, identification is the broader term because identification of problem, as we can see, since I belong to the subject of home science, there are many there are many issues which are related to the society, and these issues can be done, research can be done on these issues. So this is identification of problem. Many issues are there. I have to select one issue on which I can do the research. So according to me, identification is the broader term and selection is a part of it.
Excellent, Dr. Sonal, excellent. So you are in CD or FN or HM or?
FN, sir, FN.
Okay. All right. So very good. Any other participant? Okay. Now, do you want a break or should I continue? Organizers. Participant, do you want a break of 15 minutes or should I continue?
Yes, sir.
So
15
break,
minutes.
15
15-minute break,
minutes
sir.
break.
Half an hour, 1 hour break.
15 minutes.
10 minutes,
No,
10 or
sir,
15 minutes.
only 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 means 25 minutes.
Okay, sir. Exactly
So
5
just
p.m.
15 minutes. Exactly
Ah.
15 minutes.
You have to be very, very, very pinpointed, my dear friend, in research.
15 minutes.
Okay, so your time starts now. So you can go ahead and we meet at 4:45. Okay, nice. Enjoy. Okay, can we start? Okay, dear friends, let us continue. I think we can continue. Poonam?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, all right. So, dear friends, the word identification and selection. One example has given by the participant, and that is Dr. Poonam has given. Let me give you another. Any other person like to give another example to differentiate between identification and selection? I'll give you one more example from daily life. Say when I go to purchase fruits, I'm staying in a particular city and I go to the mall. And in the malls, different fruits are available. Say apple available, banana available, mango available, papaya available, oranges available. So there are different fruits are there. So it is a heterogeneous situation. Now, if I want to purchase apple, then I will not purchase banana, I will not purchase mango, I will not purchase oranges. So I have narrowed it down. And in that mall, they have imported apple, they have Shimla apple, and they have apple from Kashmir. Suppose I decide that I want to purchase the Shimla apple. So I have further narrowed it down. I will not purchase imported. I have not purchased Kashmir. I am purchasing. So this is how I slowly narrow it down. And now if all Shimla apples are of the same size, same color, then I can take as much I want. I want 1 kg, I can take 1 kg, half a kg, I can take half kg. But if there are further difference in the size or difference in the color, some are small, some are bigger, some are more reddish, some are more green, things of that variety, so I can further select. So selection is a part of identification. So identification word we use when situation is heterogeneous and when it becomes relatively homogeneous or homogeneous, then we use the word selection. Now at present, here is a cup, I'm having tea. So I can sip the tea from any portion of the cup I like. Why? Because the tea in the cup is homogeneous. So I can select any portion and I can take it. So therefore, selection is always a part and parcel of identification. Let us take an example from our subject. Suppose it is Hindi, say English, say history, say education, say mathematics. Say computer science. Say physics. Say chemistry. Say management. Say political science. Say biochemistry. Like this. So it is heterogeneous, like music. Like painting. So it is a heterogeneous situation. So suppose I have my master's degree in education. So I will select education and once I select education, I have narrowed it down. I will not do research by taking problem from Hindi, English, history, mathematics, etc. So this is how now the education has got history of education, economics of education, philosophy of education, say history, economics, philosophy of education, educational technology, guidance and counseling, say science education, mathematics education, etc. Now here it again not very pinpointed. There are many aspects. Now, if suppose I decide that I will do research related to educational technology, so I select education technology. So this is how I'm narrowing it down. In education technology, I have micro teaching, I have programmed learning, I have models of teaching, I have systems approach. Suppose these are the, let us say I decide to do a research related to micro teaching. So I select micro teaching. So I have further narrowed it down. Now in micro teaching, there are many skills. Skill of questioning, skill of explanation, skill of writing on board, skill of stimulus variation, skill of introducing a lesson, like this. There are many skills. Skill of explanation, okay. Skill of questioning, skill of explanation, skill of writing board, skill of stimulus variation, skill of reinforcement. So like this, there are many skills. Suppose I decide that I am teaching physics and I want to use the skill of explanation. So I select skill of explanation. So this is how I started with a wide one, and then slowly I narrow it down. And when it becomes so narrow that further narrowness is not possible, then I select. So selection is a part of identification. And if identification is not broad, then you cannot select. And if I have taken the skill of explanation and I'm teaching a topic from, let us say, research methodology, say I'm teaching types of hypothesis, then I can use the skill of explanation. So this is how I start from broad and I narrow it down, and this is how it keeps on going. So therefore, this is what the difference between identification and selection. Any question any participant like to ask over here? Any question you like to ask? Any question you like to ask? Okay, another is the variable. Can you tell me, sorry, another is problem. Can you tell me another word for the problem? Another word for the problem.
Query.
Another word for query.
Issue.
Another word for issue. The first letter is V. The second letter is A.
Variables.
That's right. It is variable. So variable is the technical word for problem. In research, we will be using the word variable quite often. But sometime, Rajesh, please mute yourself. So many a time we may use the word problem, but most of the time we use the word variable. So variable is a technical word and problem is a general word which you use. Now in one research, minimum how many variable or variables should be there? In one research, minimum number of variable or variables that a researcher should have.
Minimum 2, 3.
Minimum 2, sir.
No, that is wrong. You should have minimum 1 variable. Because without variable, research is not possible. So you must have minimum 1 variable. If you want to have 2, if you want to have 3, no problem. But you cannot do a research without variable. So minimum, so whenever anyone asks you what the minimum number of variables that we should take, your answer must be 1. Because without variable, research is not possible. So you must have variable, or if you want, you can have variables. Now, once you have selected the variable, you should be able to write title. You know the title of a book, title of a research paper, and title of a research. All these 3 titles differ among themselves. Title of a book can be 1 word. History, economics, Hindi, mathematics, geography. 1 word. But this 1 word is very, very, very heterogeneous. The name is mathematics, but it has lot of information. It has many chapters.
Hello, sir.
So
Sir, what is the maximum number of variables?
You can take as many as you like. It depends upon you. But minimum number is 1.
If there is any limit to maximum number of variables?
No, there is no limit to variable. There is no limit to objectives, as I will tell you. And I will give you example from Shodh Ganga. So it is entirely up to you as a researcher whether you want to have 3 variables, 4 variables, 5 variables. Will you be able to handle so many variables? Everything depends upon you. But minimum is there. It has to be 1. Maximum, no limit. It is up to the researcher.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Now, so when you have a title, we must know, should title be broad versus narrow versus specific. What do you think? Should title be broad, narrow, or specific?
Specific.
Specific.
My request is, before giving answer, please think. Anyway, I have got your answer. Now, you might have read many titles available in Shodh Ganga or in your old library. The theses are there. Sometime you might have read the title and you might have found that title is all right. But sometime you might have found that title doesn't read smooth. That means some information is missing in it. So as a researcher, I must know what information should be given in the title. Another, I must know, can title start with the word to? What do you think? Can title start with the word to?
No. No, sir.
Why? Rajesh. Your answer is correct, but why?
Sir, we cannot start a sentence with infinitive.
Decide, sir, by using the word to.
Because the to will give you direction and your title cannot give you the direction. So your title cannot start with to. And in Shodh Ganga, you will find many titles which have started with the word to. You can find it yourself. I have found many are there. So that means the guide does not know, the examiners do not know, the committee member who approved that particular title, they also do not know. So my dear friend, you have to be careful. Another is, can there be a full stop in the title? What do you think?
No.
No.
Excellent.
Full stop should not be there.
Correct. Because it is not a sentence, it is a statement. And statement doesn't have verb. So it cannot be a sentence. It cannot be have a full stop because it's not a sentence. Now, once you have decided your variable, you have written the title, you should write objective. There must be minimum one objective, but you can have more than one, as many as you like. How many objectives have you seen in your own subject area? The people have written. How many?
One or more than one.
Okay. Any other one?
3, 4.
Okay. I have seen 200 objective written by one of the researcher. Another researcher I found had written 45 objectives. And one more researcher I found has written 100 objectives. Normally, people depends upon, some people write 25 objectives, 30 objectives, some people write 5 objectives. So it varies. So therefore, it all depends upon the researcher, how many objectives you want to have. The number of objectives will decide the depth that you want to go and the area you want to cover. So therefore, you can have objectives. Now, if you have written objective as a heading, then you should write a simple sentence. But if you write research question as a heading, then that simple sentence must be converted into question form. Now, I have come across some of the universities. One of the university in South, they, in education, each researcher has written both the research question as well as objectives. So I am asking you, Rajesh, please mute yourself after giving your answer. Thank you very much, sir. Now, do you think should a researcher write both research question as well as objectives or not?
Both should be right, sir.
Eh?
Both should be right. If the researcher want to question to the society, so at that time he must ask the question to the society.
But then not objective. I am asking, should a researcher write both the objectives as well as research question? That is my question.
Should be right, sir, both.
No, that is wrong.
Sir, objectives
Why?
are to be
Why?
written.
Why?
Objectives are to be written. All are always to be written in a research.
Sentence form.
But research questions are not that compulsory. It depends on the type of research. If you want your research is of that quality, then you can ask research questions. But in case of objectives, it has to be mentioned. Objectives are to be mentioned.
No, Dr. Sonal, in one research, either you should write objective as a heading and write simple sentence, or you should write research question as a heading and convert the simple sentence into the question form. But researcher should not write both. Why? If you are writing both and both are same, then what is the sense of writing? So therefore the logic says no. But if they are different, then will you proceed according to your research question or according to your objective? If you proceed according to the objective, then why did you write the research question? So in both the cases, the logic is that you have to write either the research question or the objectives. You cannot write both in one research. And there was a time when in India, the people were only writing objectives. But outside India, the researchers were writing only research questions. They never wrote objectives. But now someone has gone abroad, and after seeing that they are writing research questions, though they have started saying we should also write. That is wrong, my dear friend. So therefore, in one research, a researcher should not write both. You can decide whatever you want. Now, if you have ever applied to the UGC for minor research project or major research project, they have a pro forma, and in that pro forma, they have written objective/research question. That means either this or that. One more confusion is there. I will say not confusion, rather it is misunderstanding. Some people are saying hypothesis or research question. Now they don't understand hypothesis is the solution. Research question is not the solution. So one cannot replace the heading hypothesis with the heading research question. That is wrong. So therefore, as a researcher, you have to decide whether you want to write objective as a heading or research question as a heading, and then you write. Now, when you are writing objective, should objective be broad versus narrow versus pinpoint? What do you think?
It should be pinpointed, sir.
Eh?
Should be narrows.
Think about it. The first answer was correct.
It should be pinpointed.
Yes, you are right. Your question or objective must be pinpointed. If it is not pinpointed, my dear friend, you will have a tough time to proceed further. I have come across many researchers. They come to me and ask that how do I analyze my data? I ask them what are their objectives. Then they look at me because they have not written the objectives. Now, without writing objectives, how can one proceed further? Okay. Now, in step number 1, as a researcher, you have to select your variable. Then you should be able to write your title. And you should be able to write your objectives or research question. Now I am asking, should the researcher first decide the variable, then think of the title, and then think of the objective or research question? Or should the researcher decide the title, then decide the variable, and then decide the objective? Or should the researcher decide the objective, then decide the variable, and then decide the title? What should the sequence among variable, title, and objectives?
I think, sir, the title comes first, then comes objectives, and then comes variable.
Excellent. Very good. Okay. Any other one?
As a sequencer, variable, title, objective.
Okay. All right. Any other one? My dear friend, if you are writing title first and deciding variable at the end, then variable cannot come or cannot become part and parcel of your title. And your title cannot be without a variable. So therefore, the first logic is that you have to decide the variable. Now, if you want to write that book, you have to decide the subject in which you want to write a book. So therefore, you have to decide the variable first. Now, for one particular title, how many objectives can be there? There can be many objectives. So your title cannot be specific. If it is specific, then your title and objective will be identical. Then you cannot write more than one objective. So therefore, logically, your title must be narrow. Because if it is narrow, then you can take out many objectives from that particular title. And your objectives are pinpointed. So next step, you will know only from the objectives if they are pinpointed. If they are not pinpointed, you will not know what to do first. So therefore, under step number 1, as a researcher, you have to decide the variable. You have to write the title or think of the title, and then you have to think and write the objective. This is the sequence in which you have to go. Now, should I tell you the detail of the first one, or should I tell you all the steps first? Please tell me what you want. Do you want me to tell you the types of variable and how to write title and how to write objective, or do you want me to tell you all the steps in short?
Sir, all the steps in short.
Okay. All right. Any other participant? Any other participant?
Yes, sir. We have now limited time. So please tell in shortcut.
राजपूत जी शॉर्ट में क्या बताऊं? स्टेप्स बताऊं या मैं वेरिएबल बताऊं शॉर्ट में?
Please tell us the steps of the
Okay. All right. All right. So let me tell you the steps. No problem. Okay. So the first step is identification of problem. And in this particular step, as a researcher, you know what you have to do. So because you have written the objectives, and then the second step is formulation of hypothesis. Let me tell you what is a hypothesis. Hypothesis is the tentative solution of the problem. It is not the final solution, it is the tentative solution. Another definition is hypothesis is the intelligent guess about the solution of the problem. And the third definition is hypothesis is the conjectural statement about relationship between variables. Now, it is not a guess, but it is an intelligent guess. That means there is a base or logic. It is a conjectural statement, again a tentative statement. Now, suppose you reach home and you find there is no lock on the door. What comes to your mind? You reach home and you find there is no lock on the door. What comes to your mind?
Robbery.
That there might be someone entered the house.
Okay, what else? Rajesh.
So sometimes we think that we do not lock the door.
Correct. Very good. What else? बहुत अच्छे. What else? और क्या हो सकता है?
किसी दूसरे के पास चाबी हो तो आके अंदर गया होगा, रिलेटिव.
बिल्कुल ठीक है. Now just see, if you look at this, there can be different solutions. That some family member might have come, some theft might have taken place. The person who went at the end might have forgotten to lock. But when you enter inside, you find everything is okay. That means theft has not taken place. And after some time, say your brother comes and he says, oh, I came today early. So now you know that who came first. So therefore, until and unless you do not have information, you cannot know the reason. Now, many times when we go to the doctor examines us and doctor tells that most probably you are having this problem. Now you start taking this medicine, but go to pathology lab and get your blood test. And he will write in the prescription what type of test he wants. Now, why doctor wants the blood test? Because doctor wants to be sure that you are suffering from this particular problem. So therefore, hypothesis, it is not final. It becomes final only after testing. So therefore, you have to test the hypothesis. And if you have to test the hypothesis in the science, the people do experiment for testing their hypothesis. The doctors, they have a pathology lab to test their hypothesis. But in social science and humanities, you cannot test your hypothesis directly, so you use a statistical technique. And if you want to use a statistical technique to test the hypothesis, you must have quantitative data. So please listen carefully. In your research, if you have quantitative data, which can be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, you can test the hypothesis and you must formulate the hypothesis. I repeat, in your research, if you have quantitative data, which can be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, then you can test the hypothesis and you must formulate the hypothesis. But if you have qualitative data, which cannot be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, then you cannot test the hypothesis and you should not formulate the hypothesis. I repeat, if in your research you have the qualitative data, then you can and cannot analyze with the help of a statistical technique, then you cannot test the hypothesis and you should not formulate the hypothesis. So formulation of hypothesis is only a step of research in quantitative research. And your quantitative research will be correlational studies and experimental studies. If you are doing qualitative research, then formulation of hypothesis will not be there. If you are doing philosophical research or historical research or descriptive survey research or case study research, you cannot have hypothesis. So formulation of hypothesis is not in all types of the researches. And if you have to have this, then I have given you the definition. And then because it is an intelligent guess, so there must be basis of formulating the hypothesis. You cannot formulate whatever you want. No, there is a base. So there must be basis of formulating hypothesis. Then there are types of hypothesis, and these are three. One is called research hypothesis. Another is called statistical hypothesis. And another is called operational hypothesis.
Sir, can I ask a question before you proceed?
Go ahead.
Sir, you said that
Go ahead.
hypothesis is not a necessary condition in a qualitative research.
Correct.
But there are some people who involved in the research, they say that there must be a hypothesis because the research structure say that there must be a hypothesis. What is your answer to this?
No, that is wrong. The structure does not say that there must be a hypothesis. What structure says, if there is a hypothesis, you have to test it. And testing can be done only and only by using statistical technique. And qualitative data cannot be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique. So it is wrong.
Because I myself is doing the research in a qualitative area.
My dear friend, then how will you test your hypothesis if you have formulated the hypothesis?
No, I am in the question. I am asking.
I am replying you that you cannot test your qualitative data, cannot analyze qualitative data with the help of a statistical technique. You cannot test your hypothesis, and it is wrong. 100% wrong. You can tell your guide, no problem at all. That is why in India, my dear friend, when you look at the format which the university prescribe, it is a general format, and they must have specific format for different people. For language, they should have a different format. For science, they should have a different format, but they have the same format because in that format, formulation of hypothesis is there. So, my dear friend, that is wrong. You cannot. Is it okay?
Yeah, sir. But there is a body which sits in the university to test our.
My dear friend, those people, they are weak in research.
Okay.
They do not, I have no hesitation in saying that they are guiding research. They are sitting as a member on different committees, but I'm sorry to say they do not know ABCD of research.
Sir, my next question is, if they ask me and they force me to do this, then what should be my answer to them?
You should ask them that, okay, sir, tell me, how will I test my hypothesis? Just ask. And that will give you the answer. Ask your guide with whom you are working. Okay, sir, okay, I have formulated hypothesis. Now, how will I test it? He will not be able to tell you because he doesn't know.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, we proceed. So these are the types of hypotheses, and it is, as a researcher, it is your choice whether you want to formulate a research hypothesis or statistical or operational. But the statistical technique can directly test your statistical hypothesis as well as operational hypothesis. But research hypothesis you cannot test directly. It has to be tested through statistical hypothesis. Then another is there are the forms of hypothesis. And there are two forms of hypothesis. One is called null form and another called directional form or alternative form. Now, it is not your choice to formulate hypothesis in the null form or in the directional form. There is a base. And this is what I told you, the basis. These bases will guide you whether you should have null form or the directional form. Once you know that, then you must know the wording of the hypothesis. In this, you must know tense. So do you know in which tense should you formulate hypothesis? In the present tense, past tense, or future tense?
Present tense, simple present tense.
Yes, you are right. It has to be in the present tense, but many people write in the future tense. That is wrong. Because whenever there is a base, you cannot have future tense. It has to be present tense. And then you have to use the word significant. Now, once you have done this, then you should, another is a testing of the hypothesis. If you have to test the hypothesis, then you must know two concepts. One is called degree of freedom, and another is called level of significance. So these are the two important concepts you must know. Then there is a one tail test and tail test. And finally, you should know type 1 error and type 2 error. This much you are supposed to understand under the second step. Now, those researches where you do not have a second step, then there the second step becomes data collection. And wherever formulation of hypothesis is the second step, then the third step will become the data collection. Now, if you have to collect the data, you must know from where to collect the data. If you want to work on Mahadevi Verma, then you have to read the books written by Mahadevi Verma only. If you want to work on Munshi Premchand writing, then you have to read the books written by Munshi Premchand only. So therefore, you have to use the primary source only. If you want to study the Kothari Commission, then you only have to use the Kothari Commission report, the original. So when there are researches where primary sources are only used, and these are all philosophical researches in a very general sense in philosophy. Now, if you are working in historical type of research, then you have the primary source or you have the secondary source. But if you are not working either in these two areas, then if you are doing a survey research or experimental research, you have to collect data from the field. So either you collect the data by using primary source or by using secondary source or by using the field. All science people, they do research in their labs. So labs become the place where they will have the data. Those people who are in education, in economics, etc., they do survey. So they collect the data from the field. So when you are collecting the data from the field, then you should know the sampling. That from where to collect. Another is with the help tool or instrument. So with the help of instrument, you will be collecting the data. And which method you use, it is called method of research. So when it comes to the sampling, then as a researcher, you must know universe, then you must know population, then you must know sample, then you must know sampling, and you must know sampling techniques. And these sampling techniques are classified under two. One is called probability sampling, and another called non-probability sampling techniques. Your probability sampling techniques are, one is called random sampling, technique, another is called systematic sampling technique, another is called stratified sampling technique, and another called stratified proportionate random sampling technique. So stratified proportionate random sampling technique. And another is called cluster sampling technique, and another is called multi-stage sampling technique. These are the sampling technique which comes under probability sampling technique, and the non-probability sampling techniques are, one is called purposive sampling technique. Another is called judgment sampling technique. Another is called incidental sampling technique. Another is called quota sampling technique. Another is called snowball sampling technique. These are non-probability sampling technique. Now, after that, my dear friend, you must know the sample size, how to determine sample size, and you must know the sampling error. Okay, now these are the things which you must know under sampling. When it comes to the tool or instrument, you must know the characteristics. The characteristics of the tool, you must know the types of tool. Do you know the types of tool or not? Do you know the types of tool or not? No, you don't know. Okay, no problem at all. If you don't know, don't know. Okay, then the tools are procedure of development, standardization of tool. Development and standardization of tool. Then you should know methods of reliability and validity. Now, so this is what you should know about the tools. About the method, you should know historical method. And in historical method, it is important to know the primary source and the secondary source. And these are important. You should be able to differentiate whether it is primary or it is secondary. And then another is experimental. Experimental method you should know. In experimental method, you must know elements of experiment. You must know the principle of experiment. You must know the types of experimental design. And then you must know internal and external validity of experimental design. Do you know different types of experimental design or not? You must know the methods of controlling intervening variables. So once you have collected the data, then the next step will be your data analysis. Are you listening or you are out?
No, sir, we are very much listening.
Listening, sir, listening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, means you are out. Okay. Data analysis will be, there are two types of data. One type of data is called qualitative data. And if you have to analyze the qualitative data, then the different techniques to analyze it, one is called content analysis. Another is called meta-analysis. And another is called sort analysis. Do you know the meaning of SWOT?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Yes, sir.
What is the
Strengths, weaknesses,
Yes.
opportunities, and threats. Strengths,
once
weaknesses,
again?
and opportunities and threats.
Correct. Strength, S means strength, W means weakness, O means opportunity, and T means threat. And NAC people do not say sort, they say SWOC. C means challenge. So either you say threat or you say challenge, it's one of the same thing. So these are the techniques which are available in order to analyze your qualitative data. If you have quantitative data, then my dear friend, you have to use statistical technique. So statistical techniques are to be used. And for this, you must know the scales of measurement. Do you know the scales of measurement? Anyone knows the scales of measurement? There is a nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. So one is called nominal scale. Another is called ordinal scale. Another is called interval scale and ratio scale. And then you must know the statistical techniques. The statistical techniques, they fall under two categories. One is called probability, one is called parametric statistic, another is called non-parametric statistics. And before that, my dear friend, you should know that if you have a quantitative data, then either you can compare or you can study the relationship. There cannot be any third thing. So the statistical techniques are One is called parametric statistic and another is called I'm sure you must be knowing the difference between parametric statistics and non-parametric statistics. Should I tell you or you know it? Should I tell you or you know it?
बताइए सर.
तो यार फिर इतना टाइम क्यों लगाते हो बेटा? अगर आपको पूछना है तो जल्दी बोला करो. Let me tell you the difference between the parametric statistics and the non-parametric statistics. The one is the distribution. That in parametric state, it has to be normal distribution. If your data is not able to have normal distribution, you cannot use parametric statistic, then you have to use non-parametric statistic, here any distribution. And when you have any distribution, another name for non-parametric statistic is distribution-free statistics. Sometime in the interview, people ask that, do you know another name for non-parametric statistics? So people do not know. So you should remember it is a distribution-free statistics. Then another is scale of measurement. If you want to have here, your data must be interval scale or ratio scale. When your data are on the interval scale or ratio scale, it's a very, very strong data. But it can be any scale of measurement. That makes it is a weak data. So you can use any one you like. Then another one is the power of a test. Your parametric statistic is more powerful and your non-parametric statistic is less powerful. Now the example of statistical technique is, examples are that in parametric, it is a t-test. I'm sure you know another name is independent samples t-test. Another is correlated t-test. Another is one-way ANOVA. Another is two-way ANOVA. Another is three-way ANOVA. Another is one-way ANCOVA. another is two-way ANCOA, another is three-way ANCOA, another is trend analysis, another is product movement correlation, another is biserial correlation, another is point biserial correlation, another is canonical correlation, the canonical correlation, another is partial correlation, another is multiple correlation, another is regression analysis, another is factor analysis. So like this, there are many techniques which are under parametric statistics. Under non-parametric statistic is chi-square, chi-square test, another is Mann-Whitney U test, then another is median test, another is sign test, another is Friedman analysis of variance, analysis of variance by ranks, so there are many non-parametric statistics are also there. And now you know the non-parametric statistics are very, very, very weak statistics. So their finding will be very weak. Go ahead. भैया कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो क्या? Ravindra, are you asking question? Otherwise mute yourself. Prashant, if you are asking question, otherwise mute yourself. Okay. Now, once you have analyzed your data, then the next step is conclusion, or you can say finding or findings. So these are the steps of the research which you will follow whenever you want to have hypothesis. Otherwise, in in qualitative research or philosophical research, historical research, descriptive research, and case study research. The steps are one is identification of problem, then data collection. And in data collection, sometimes you may have your primary source or secondary source, or you may collect it from the field. If you collect it from the field, then you should know the sampling tools and method of research. And then the third step is data analysis. And fourth step is conclusion or your findings. So dear friend, that's what you wanted, that you wanted the steps in the short. I have given you the steps in the short. So any question you want to ask before I say bye-bye to you, and thank you very much.
I have a question.
हाँ बोलिए.
Hello, sir. Sir, there are two more steps: significance of the research and the probable implications of the research.
No,
Where shall
my
we
dear
include it?
friend, no, my dear friend, these are the things to be taken care of when you are writing the thesis. I have not told you how to write the thesis. But these are not the steps of the research. These are the things to be written when you are writing it, not the steps.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Any other question?
Sir, yeah, after the conclusion, we can give some suggestions.
हैं?
Conclusion के बाद में हम कुछ suggestions लिख सकते हैं क्या?
अरे भैया, वो आप जब थीसिस लिखते हैं तो थीसिस लिखने की बात और है. मैंने आपको थीसिस लिखना नहीं बताया. मैंने क्या बताया आपको? स्टेप्स ऑफ रिसर्च बताए हैं.
ओके सर.
आप ये क्यों नहीं सोचते भैया मैं बता क्या रहा हूं? अगर आप मेरे को थीसिस कैसे लिखना है वो पूछते तो मैं बताता उसमें क्या क्या करना है.
ओके सर. ओके.
All right. So thank you very much. So nice of you. Hope you have been benefited. I'm not very sure about it, but I think I tried my level best.
Sir, can you suggest some books, sir?
No, very sorry, sir. I can give you the name of the books, but you have to decide yourself. I cannot suggest. No one can suggest the book because the book which you like, I may not like it. Isn't it? So therefore you have to find out book yourself. There are Sage publication, there are 500 titles are there, and there are many other books are there. You can find out anyone you like.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so friends, we will stop here and meet tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.